You see the glittering lights of the Las Vegas Strip, the promise of endless opportunity, the allure of zero state income tax. This is the Nevada dream, sold to millions. But beneath that shimmering mirage, a serious rot has set in. The Silver State's housing market, which boomed uncontrollably post-pandemic, is now showing terrifying cracks. This isn't just a slowdown. In many areas, it's the beginning of a painful correction, a crash that could trap unsuspecting buyers for a decade. You're not just seeing prices dip, you're seeing inventory spike, foreclosure notices rise, and the very economic pillars supporting these communities begin to crumble. Many are calling this 2008 all over again, but this time, the triggers are different. We're about to embark on a road trip across Nevada, navigating the warning signs to expose the 10 cities where the housing bubble is bursting the fastest. These are the areas you must avoid if you value your financial security. Stay with me until the end, because the city sitting at our #1 spot isn't just seeing a correction, it's facing a perfect storm that threatens its very foundation. And I'll also reveal the one surprising factor beyond interest rates that is accelerating this entire collapse. If you want to protect your investments and stay ahead of the curve, do me a favor right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss this. Let's begin the drive.
Number 10. Elko. Our journey begins far from the neon glow, in the high desert of northeast Nevada. This is Elko, the heart of Nevada's gold mining industry. For years, this city ran on the motto, "If you don't have a job, Elko has one for you." That promise was built almost entirely on the price of gold and copper. But when your entire economy is tied to a single, volatile commodity, you are living on borrowed time. The housing market here reflects that instability. While the rest of the nation saw prices explode, Elko's growth was more modest, but the underlying risk is profound. The problem isn't a massive price crash yet, it's a foundation of quicksand. Here's the data. The Bureau of Labor Statistics notes that a staggering percentage of the local workforce is employed either directly by the mines or in adjacent support services. When gold prices fluctuate, those jobs are the first to be cut. We are already seeing the warning signs. Local real estate reports show that homes in Elko are sitting on the market an average of 75 days, significantly longer than the state average. Why? Because the pool of qualified buyers is directly tied to mining recruitment. Furthermore, the cost of living here is deceptively high. While home prices might seem affordable compared to Reno, data from PayScale suggests that utility and grocery costs in this remote region are nearly 10% above the national average. This creates a dangerous affordability trap. Wages are decent, but they don't stretch. Redfin data highlights that inventory levels for homes under $400,000 are extremely low, yet demand has vanished. The real shock stat comes from demographic analysis. Elko has one of the highest population turnovers in the state. People don't come here to build a life. They come here to work a job. When that job is gone, so are they, leaving a trail of for sale signs behind. If a global recession hits and the demand for gold softens, Elko will be the first domino to fall. Before we head west, if you know someone considering a move for a mining job, share this video with them. They need to see this.
Number 9. Fernley. We leave Elko and drive west, heading toward the orbit of Reno. Our next stop is Fernley, a city that essentially exploded thanks to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, home to giants like Tesla and Panasonic. On paper, Fernley looks like a success story. It's the affordable bedroom community for the thousands of jobs created at the industrial park. But that is precisely its greatest weakness. Fernley is not a city. It's a commuter hub, and its housing market is entirely dependent on the health of its neighbors. The cracks are already showing. As the tech industry faces a slowdown and companies like Tesla recalibrate their workforce, the demand for housing in Fernley is evaporating. Data from the Nevada Association of Realtors shows that Fernley's median home price has already slipped 5% year over year. But the alarming statistic is the inventory. The number of active listings has surged by 40%, as reported by local brokers. The houses that were being snapped up in bidding wars 2 years ago are now sitting stagnant. Let's talk about the real cost. The primary appeal was cheaper housing. But what happens when that cheaper home is a 30-mile commute from Reno? According to AAA, the average cost of vehicle ownership, factoring in gas and maintenance, is now exceeding $10,000 a year. That affordable mortgage payment is suddenly not so affordable when you add the transportation tax. Neighborhood Scout data also reveals a concerning trend. Property crime in Fernley has been ticking upwards, a common symptom of a community under economic stress. And here is the kicker. According to Zillow, nearly 1/3 of all homes sold in Fernley in the last 2 years were new builds. This rapid construction, often of lower quality, was meant to meet panic demand. Now, that demand is gone, and these new developments are competing with a flood of resale homes. This oversupply is a classic recipe for a price crash. This is a one-industry town, except the industry isn't even in the town. That's a fragile model. Is a long commute worth the risk? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Number 8, Sparks. Pulling into our next stop, we've barely left Reno. This is Sparks, Reno's sister city, and it's facing an identity crisis that's hammering its housing market. For decades, Sparks was the more industrial, working-class alternative to Reno. But during the pandemic boom, it tried to rebrand itself, welcoming a flood of new, high-density housing and California equity. Now it's caught in the middle. It's absorbing all of Reno's economic problems, but lacks Reno's core amenities and job market. The data is alarming. Redfin reports that the median sale price in Sparks has fallen by more than 6% in the past year, a faster decline than in Reno itself. Homes are sitting on the market for a median of 62 days, and the sale-to-list price ratio has plummeted, meaning sellers are cutting their asking prices significantly just to get a deal. But the real problem is the inventory. Local market analysis shows a massive spike in condo and townhouse listings. These were the primary properties snatched up by out-of-state investors and first-time buyers using low-interest loans. Now those investors are trying to get out, and the first-time buyers are finding their adjustable-rate mortgages are resetting. According to ATTOM Data Solutions, foreclosure filings in Washoe County, where Sparks is located, have seen a 15% jump quarter over quarter. Sparks is bearing the brunt of this. Wage growth, a report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows, has completely stalled in the region while the cost of living remains inflated. And here's the most shocking statistic. A recent analysis of rental markets from Zillow indicates that the average rent in Sparks has actually decreased in the last 6 months. When rents fall, it is a massive red flag. It signals that the population is no longer growing, and investors who bought properties expecting to cash in on high rents are now underwater. They will be forced to sell, flooding the market even further. Sparks is caught in the shadow of its bigger brother, and it's getting hit harder by the downturn.
Number 7, Carson City. We head south from the Reno-Sparks area, driving down to the state capital, Carson City. You might think a state capital is a safe bet. It has stable government jobs, historical charm, and it's separated from the chaos of the larger metro areas. But this perception of safety is exactly what makes Carson City so dangerous right now. Prices here were driven to absurd levels by buyers fleeing California and Reno, seeking that quiet, stable life. The problem is, local government salaries cannot support a $700,000 median home price. The bubble here is disconnected from economic reality. Let's look at the numbers. The home price to median income ratio in Carson City is one of the worst in the state. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows a median household income that simply cannot justify the current cost of housing. As a result, the market has hit a brick wall. The Nevada Association of Realtors reports that sales volume in Carson City has plummeted by nearly 30% year over year. nobody is buying. Inventory, meanwhile, has ballooned. Local brokerages report that months of supply, a measure of how long it would take to sell all active listings, has tripled from 1 year ago. It has become an ice-cold buyer's market, but buyers are still priced out. This is creating a seller panic environment. Redfin data shows that over 25% of all active listings in Carson City have had at least one price cut. And the foreclosure data is grim. While government jobs are stable, the private sector, retail, food service, and construction, is not. ATT Data Solutions notes a disturbing rise in foreclosure starts, specifically in the zip codes associated with newer developments on the city's outskirts. This is a market that was artificially inflated by an external rush. Now that the rush has ended, Carson City is left with California prices and a Nevada economy. That math does not work. Before we continue south, hit that like button if you're getting value from this analysis.
Number 6, Mesquite. Our road trip now takes us on a long drive south to the oasis town of Mesquite, nestled against the Arizona border. This city has long been marketed as the ultimate retirement haven. It's quiet, sunny, and centered around golf courses and casinos. But the retirement dream is becoming a financial nightmare for many, and the housing market is reflecting that stress. The primary vulnerability of Mesquite is its demographic. A large portion of its residents are on fixed incomes. They are retirees who depend on pensions, Social Security, and their stock portfolios. In the current economic climate, that is a recipe for disaster. Inflation has savaged their buying power. The stock market volatility of the last 2 years has hammered their retirement accounts, and the rising costs of living are forcing them to make tough choices. The data is stark. Reports from the U.S. Census Bureau confirm the high percentage of residents aged 65 and over. Now, look at the housing data from Redfin. Median home prices in Mesquite are down over 4% from their peak. But the hidden dagger here is not just the home price, it's the cost of staying in the home. A survey of local HOA associations indicates that monthly fees in many of Mesquite's core retirement communities have increased by an average of 15 to 20% in just 1 year, citing insurance and maintenance costs. This is squeezing retirees out. The inventory of homes for sale has climbed steadily, not because people want to move, but because they have to. Furthermore, with higher interest rates, the incoming flow of new retirees has slowed to a trickle. They can no longer sell their homes in California or Utah for a massive profit and pay cash in Mesquite. This has created a toxic imbalance. Zillow reports that homes in Mesquite are sitting on the market for an average of 68 days. The demand has vanished. This is a city built entirely on a demographic that is now under severe financial siege.
Number 5. Pahrump. We are now driving west of Las Vegas, over the mountains, into the sprawling, unincorporated town of Pahrump. For decades, Pahrump was the symbol of Nevada's libertarian, off-grid spirit. It was the place you went to escape the rules and high prices of Las Vegas. During the pandemic, this mentality fueled a construction boom of staggering proportions. People flocked here, buying up parcels of land and throwing up homes, convinced they were beating the system. Instead, they built a house of cards in the middle of the desert. Pahrump represents one of the biggest risks in the entire state. The problem is a combination of poor quality, rapid construction, a low-wage economy, and a severe lack of infrastructure. The data is terrifying. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the poverty rate in Pahrump is significantly higher than both the state and national averages. The median household income is dangerously low. Yet, home prices here more than doubled between 2018 and 2022. This was a bubble fueled entirely by speculation and escape, not by economic fundamentals. Now, it's bursting. Local real estate agents report that the market is flooded with panic-built homes. These are properties from the last 3 years, often built by small-time developers that are now sitting empty. Redfin data shows that the number of active listings in Pahrump has increased by over 50% year over year. And here's the stat that reveals the core problem. A report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that a massive portion of Pahrump's workforce commutes to Las Vegas for jobs in hospitality and construction, the very sectors now slowing down. This makes the town extremely vulnerable to gas prices and layoffs. But the greatest threat, the one no one wants to talk about, is water. The Pahrump Valley's water basin is, according to the Nevada Division of Water Resources, one of the most overallocated in the state. Restrictions on new wells are tightening, and the future of development is in serious jeopardy. Pahrump is a market built on a dream of independence, but it's facing a reality of economic isolation and resource scarcity.
Number 4. Reno. We are now heading back north to the biggest little city in the world. Reno was the poster child for the tech exodus, the great migration of tech companies and remote workers fleeing California's Bay Area. This influx of cash and equity sent Reno's housing market into a frenzy that was completely unsustainable. Now, the party is over, and the hangover is severe. The tech industry is in a different place than it was 2 years ago. Remote work policies are being reversed, tech companies are laying off employees, and the flood of California money has dried up. What's left is a city with Bay Area housing prices and a local economy that cannot support them. The numbers are undeniable. Zillow data shows that the median home value in Reno has dropped by nearly 8% since its peak. That is a massive loss of equity. Redfin confirms this trend, reporting that homes are sitting on the market for a median of 60 days, a number that was unthinkable just 18 months ago when homes were selling in a weekend. But let's look deeper. The commercial real estate market, often a leading indicator for the residential market, is in dire straits. A report from a leading Nevada commercial brokerage shows that office vacancy rates in Reno have spiked to their highest level in a decade. The jobs that were supposed to fuel the boom are disappearing. This has a direct effect on housing. The sale-to-list ratio has fallen below 98%, meaning the average home is selling for less than its asking price. The bidding wars are gone. And here's the most concerning stat from CoreLogic. A significant number of recent buyers, particularly those who bought at the peak in 2022, are now at high risk of being underwater, meaning they owe more on their mortgage than their home is currently worth. Reno bet big on becoming the next tech hub, but that bet is failing, and the housing market is paying the price. Is the Reno boom officially over? Let me know what you think in the comments section below.
Number 3. Henderson. We now return to southern Nevada, to the city that is consistently ranked one of the best places to live in America, Henderson. This massive, affluent suburb of Las Vegas is home to master-planned communities, sprawling golf courses, and high-end shopping. This is the heart of Nevada's luxury market. And in a housing crash, the luxury market always falls first and farthest. The wealth effect that drove Henderson's boom is evaporating. The stock market pullback and economic uncertainty have caused high-income earners to pause. The demand for million-dollar-plus homes has fallen off a cliff. The data is stunning. A market report from a luxury Las Vegas brokerage shows that the number of active listings for homes priced over $1 million in Henderson has doubled year over year. The inventory is massive. At the same time, sales in this luxury bracket have collapsed by over 30%. This is the definition of a frozen market. Redfin data shows that the median days on market for a home in Henderson's most exclusive zip codes has stretched to over 70 days. Sellers are desperate. Price cuts of $50,000, even $100,000 are becoming commonplace. But it's not just the luxury tier. The new home construction that defines Henderson is in serious trouble.
Major builders, who couldn't build homes fast enough 2 years ago, are now offering massive incentives, including buying down interest rates and throwing in free upgrades just to move standing inventory. This guts the resale market. Why would you buy a 3-year-old home when you can get a brand new one for the same price with a 5% interest rate? A report from CoreLogic highlighted Henderson as a high-risk market, noting that the rapid price acceleration was completely detached from local wage growth. Henderson is where the bubble is at its shiniest, and it's precisely why it's going to burst the loudest.
Number 2. North Las Vegas. Our drive now takes us to the community that often bears the brunt of economic downturns, North Las Vegas. This has traditionally been the industrial and working-class heart of the Las Vegas Valley. It's home to major logistics hubs, warehouses, and a large population of hospitality workers. Because of this, North Las Vegas is the canary in the coal mine for the entire region, and that canary is no longer singing. This community is being hit by a devastating combination of factors. First, the logistics and warehouse boom, which was supercharged by the pandemic, is cooling off. As consumer spending shifts, the demand for warehouse space and the jobs within it is declining. Second, the hospitality industry on the Strip is stalling, and workers in North Las Vegas are the first to feel the cuts in hours and overtime. The housing data shows the immediate impact. At Data Solutions reports that foreclosure rates in North Las Vegas are consistently 30 to 40% higher than the national average. This community is on the front lines of the foreclosure crisis. Redfin data shows that median home prices here are falling faster than in Las Vegas proper. But the truly terrifying statistic is from the investor market. During the boom, institutional investors and iBuyers targeted North Las Vegas aggressively, buying up thousands of single-family homes to turn into rentals. A report from the Nevada Current indicated that in some zip codes, investors bought nearly half of all homes sold. Now, those investors are dumping their inventory. With rising maintenance costs and flattening rents, their profit models are broken. They are flooding the market with listings, competing directly with regular homeowners who need to sell. This creates a race to the bottom. Neighborhood Scout data also shows that property crime rates in North Las Vegas remain stubbornly high, adding another layer of pressure on property values. This is 2008 all over again for North Las Vegas. The speculation was rampant, and the working-class families here are the ones who will be left holding the bag.
Number 1. Las Vegas. We have finally arrived at the epicenter, the city that defines Nevada, Las Vegas. The dream built in the desert, a city fueled by entertainment, tourism, and spectacle. But this entire economy is a house of cards, and the wind is picking up. Las Vegas is our number 1 city to avoid because it is facing a perfect storm of economic, environmental, and regulatory threats that are converging all at once. First, the core economic engine, tourism, is sputtering. The revenge travel boom is over. Convention attendance, the lifeblood of midweek occupancy, is still below pre-pandemic levels, according to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. The massive new casinos are opening to a softer market. This directly impacts the job market. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that while hospitality jobs have returned, the wages are stagnant, while the cost of living has soared. Second, the short-term rental market is collapsing. New Clark County regulations have effectively banned thousands of properties that were once cash printing machines on platforms like Airbnb. Those properties are now being panic sold, flooding the market with condo and single-family home inventory. Third, and this is the factor I warned you about, is water. The Lake Mead water crisis is no longer a distant threat. It's an immediate economic reality. The Southern Nevada Water Authority has implemented drastic water restrictions and impact fees, making new construction exponentially more expensive and signaling to the world that the city's resources are finite. And the housing numbers reflect this panic. Zillow reports that in the last quarter, nearly 15% of all homes sold in Las Vegas sold at a loss.
Redfin data shows that inventory levels are at their highest point in 4 years, while buyer demand has vanished. Las Vegas is a city entirely dependent on discretionary spending and a steady flow of new residents. With a potential recession looming, discretionary spending is the first thing to go. And with the water crisis, the flow of new residents is in question. Betting on the Las Vegas housing market right now is not a gamble. It's a guaranteed losing hand.
The road trip we just took reveals a harsh reality. The Nevada dream is built on a fragile foundation. From the commodity-driven north to the water-starved south, these cities are facing a painful economic correction. This isn't about spreading fear, it's about providing you with the data you need to make smart financial decisions and protect your family. The market is changing, and ignoring these warning signs is a luxury you cannot afford. If this video helped you or gave you a new perspective, please hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. And now, I want to hear from you. Which Nevada city do you think is the most overpriced? And which city did I miss? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.